Okay, the reason why I stopped the video there rather than just continuing is I don't fancy going back and remaking all of that video from what I've just done, so only do as much as you want. It's the same as saving, only save or save your file if you don't want to repeat what you just type save often, or if you leave it alone and anything goes wrong and you lose your file, then you're going to have to type the whole lot back. So it's just to prevent me from having to type loads of stuff in if things go wrong now, which they could well do, because the lived at table is actually the most important table in the database. It's the one that we're really going to be using all of the time for our to get the locations to place on the map. It's going to find the location. It's going to have a person ID, which is going to give me some data, which is going to be put on the map. The date from, the date to could also appear on there, as can the event ID. So this is a really, really crucial table, and it just pays to get it right and do a lot of testing. So we're going to do that now. So let's take, well, we've got add test event, that's only got one field. Let's open up one of the earlier, let's go for add location and save that as test add lived at .html. Excellent. And now change the title. Change the file. Methods post right now. Let's just change these. So what we're going to be doing here is typing in the person ID. It will not work like this in reality. It will be completely different. But for our testing purposes, we're going to just put the numbers in. So it's going to be location, ID, and event ID. I need 2 more lines, so let's copy those. Paste them there, and a date from and a date to. Now in reality, these date froms and date tos are going to give us a bit of a nightmare, because really we do need to sort of leave them blank. But we can cover that. As you know, we can just change the to check for blank ones. All we need to do is pull them out of here and check them. Oh, I've got the add person, doesn't it? To check now. And create this piece of code here just to check each date. Tricky to play with, something we can edit later. But at the moment we're going to have values for them, so we need to make sure the names are correct. So this is going to be person ID. This one's going to be location ID. That's going to be event ID. Date from and date to. You might have sort of default values for these. You might not know when the date is, so you'd have a default value. However you choose it, it doesn't really matter. So let's save that. Let's just check it out. Got the right title, right form, got the right fields, event, date, time. Okay, so I think I'm ready to go and test this one out. So let's go back to here and add lived at. Oh. So there was a coding error. A parameter has not been set. So I have obviously, that was pretty good. I have obviously mistyped something down here. So let's go and check here. A parameter has not been set. As we can see, the parameter, that message must have come from here, which is part of this one. So I'm looking for person ID, location ID, event ID, date from, and date to. So everything there looks fine. Person ID, location ID, event ID, date from, date to, everything here looks fine. So I seem to have an issue. Let's try that one again. Right. So we're not even getting to the file. It's firing off automatically. Oh, that's good. That's giving us a problem. Type text, person ID, location ID, check the spellings, event ID, date from, and date to. If it's person ID. Now I'm noticing that I'm not even getting a chance to actually set the variables here. It's not pushing the form onto the page. It's just calling it straight away. Form action, method post. Input type submit. Okay, let's try typing it in on a new one, see what happens. Localhost, family tracker. Hopefully you've seen my error and I can't see it. Test, add, lived at .php. Well, of course, HTML. Ah, that's better. That's a bit odd. Okay, so I've now got my form. And if you remember, when I was here, the only kind of data that I can sort of put in is this numerical data here, 1, 2, 1960, 2016, and 2. Now, all of these values must exist in the table. So I must have a person 1, I must have a location 2, I must have an event 2. So I know, if I just put some things in here, I know that I haven't got an event 3. Person, I don't know how many people I've got in my database. I'm not going to add any more into the database. So if I go and take a look, so the last person I've got, browse, I've got 7 people, so person 8. So if I've got person 8, so if I put null, person 8, location, take a look at the location table, browse it, just make sure we're looking at the latest version. My last location was 6, so I don't have a location 7. I'm not really bothered about the dates at all, so they can be anything and anything as long as they're dates. And I think 3 was the biggest or the next value on the event table. Yeah, so I've got event ID 1 and 2. So any of these values here will give me an error, so I can test for them all now. So let's go back to lived at. Let's put something in that is correct. So person ID 1, location ID 2 and event ID 2, because we've got an event 2, date from, let's put the 1960 and 2016 and click submit. Data was added to the database. Seems to have worked nicely. So let's go and take a look at the lived at table. There we go, 1, 1 to 1962. Perfect. Okay, let's try the ones that don't work now. So if I go back to here, let's change person ID. I'm going to try them all blank. So let's try a blank. That should fail because it's empty and should be picked up by this. Actually, should be picked up if empty person ID. We get the error message, which would be error. Submit. I'm not getting my error message, so that obviously needs looking at. So let's put in an invalid value 8. I'll submit that, and there you go. The data was rejected, so that's fine. Go back. I've got a feeling if I take all of these out, let's put a valid person in again. Take location ID. Everything I do here, I'm not going to get a JSON response. So there's a little bit in my code there that I need to put right. So let's put an invalid location, which is 7, and submit that. Data was rejected. Perfect. Did the same with this. Just check it out. Nothing in. Submit. No value. And then invalid 1. No. Make sure we've got this one as a correct one. Oh, 72 is definitely not correct. There we go. So that's invalid because I don't have an event 3. Data was rejected. Perfect. Again, if I leave these out, I'm going to get that blank page again on both of them. There's no such thing as an invalid date. Delete that. Check it. Submit. Nothing. Okay. So just a small error to correct, or hopefully a small error to correct on this line here, but the rest of it seems to work. I'm going to resave that file. Don't know why that wasn't saved. Let's just quickly go through it. Hopefully I'll find it. If not, I'll stop the video and move on. So if empty post, so first of all let's check the parenthesis, so the entire if statement is there. So this empty, that's that too, and empty, that seems fine, and empty there. Remember we copied this, or I copied this, bound to get errors when I copy. So actually everything seems hunky-dory. Is there anything wrong with the logic? Let's see what happens. Let's put some messages in here. Echo. Whoops. Save that and try again. Let's take the date out. Don't need to put anything else. I'm not even getting the whoops. So what am I doing and where am I? Okay, I'm going to stop the video at this point. I'll come back when I locate the mistake.